I want to share with you my 5 must-ask questions to every candidate to ensure that you are going to get the best talent for your business. Now, I learned this lesson through thousands of interviews over the last 4.5 years. My husband and I started our business in 2019. It was the two of us, and as we were figuring out who was going to be responsible for what, I got to be the head recruiter, the head interviewer, also the head of technology, and a handful of other things. But I had no idea what I was doing back then. And so I want to share with you what I have learned from having 0 employees to now across our organizations having over 290 employees, and the thousands of interviews that I've done since, so that you do not have to have the exact same headaches that I had. So let's just roll into this. The first interview question that you should always ask, and this is how you start the interview. You say, so tell me, what research did you do on ABC company? For our business, that would obviously be Cardinal Ventures, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna say ABC company. And so we're gonna practice this. You should, if you're watching this video in the comfort of your bed, if you're driving down the road, I'm gonna give you a second for you to say, so tell me, what research did you do on ABC company? You'll notice that when I say this, I'm acting very relaxed. I'm not saying it from the standpoint of, what research did you do on ABC company? And why I make that point is I find that even in my own interview style early on, and when I work with the thousands of business owners that I work with on a regular basis, there's this ethos around hiring that you should make it really uncomfortable for the candidate, that you should be stern, that you should act cold, that you should be rigid. And I find that the opposite is true when you really want to find somebody who is aligned with your organization. You shouldn't be hard and rigid. If you're not hard and rigid, you should be warm and welcoming so that they are comfortable. If they're comfortable, you're likely going to understand more of how they're going to operate in your business, versus if they're really rigid and stiff because you're rigid and stiff, that's not actually going to be an accurate representation of who they're going to show up as in your business every single day. So you should be asking this question very comfortably. Now, if they tell you that they did a decent amount of research and that they know that you are a dentist and that you've been operating for 10 years and that you're looking to continue to grow your patient base, okay, fantastic. They check the box and you'd move on to the next question. If they tell you things like, I didn't do any research, I couldn't find much else about you, those are red flags. I would second guess if that is the right person for you. Now, this obviously depends on the role that you're hiring for, but hear me out here. If this person is looking for a job, that job is their income. That job is where they're going to be for at least 8 hours a day. So if they didn't do research on the company that they are going to take this job for, what makes you think that they're going to do a lot of research and preparation for the things that you ask them to do in your business every single day? That is not as important as where they are going to land their job. So as you think about the importance of doing research on something like what a company does that I'm about to spend 40 hours a week with, you start to kind of reshift, okay, this is a very important thing to do research on, and if you're not doing research on this thing, what else aren't you doing research on? And what type of person are you that in these roles inside our organization, you might not be properly prepared ahead of time? So I always think it's a red flag, and I've never once had somebody say, I've never done research on you, and then they are this 5-star fantastic team member after the fact. It just doesn't work that way, because if they don't do research on the front end, it's not likely that they're going to be learning and developing how to do research on the back end. And that's also not my job as a business owner, to have them learn that skill in the roles that they're being hired for. Question number 2 is, give me a brief overview of the past 3 positions that you've held and what you were responsible for in each. Now, I'm doing a couple of things there. First, I said brief. Did you hear that? You want to roll the tape back and hear that? I said brief. If the person talks for the next 30 minutes and you only had 30 minutes for the interview and you're in question number 2, huge red flag. Somebody should be able to just say, hey, I worked at ABC company. I was there for 4 years. These are the things that I was primarily responsible for and the results that were achieved through my responsibility. From there, I was at XYZ company. I was there for 1.5 years. There was a lot of transition going on in the organization. That's why I was there for only 1.5 years. And then I decided to move into this next role because at the previous role, I was responsible for these things, but because of the transition and a bunch of other things going on, I wasn't able to hit those targets. Right? Like, they should be able to roll through this pretty quickly, not going into so much detail that you're going to spend 30 minutes talking about these things, but enough detail for them to actually explain to you what were they responsible for. And bonus points, this is where like flashes should be sounding and lights should be going off in your head. When they tell you the specific results they were responsible for and the numbers associated with those responsibilities, that is magic. That is what you are looking for, because you then know that it's more likely than not that they actually did those things. See, I've had so many interviews where people told me that they were responsible for building out the pumpkin spice latte campaign at Starbucks, but then they couldn't actually tell me any of the conversion numbers, any of the metrics that were associated with that, what the rollout plan was. So what does that tell me? They were on a team and they had a role on this massive team, but they weren't driving that. Well, if you're expecting that person to drive the initiative in your business, they better frickin' know the numbers. And if they don't know the numbers, sure, they had the experience of being around it, but that's very different experience than them actually doing it, which is what your expectation is of them in the role. Okay, question number 3 is the single most important question you could ever ask in an interview. What are your 5-year professional goals? Now, just like hold the phone here for a second. The core of that statement is, what are your 5-year professional goals? But what I did there that is very strategic, very important, and if you don't have this, you need to create this in your organization, is I inserted our mission statement and I inserted our vision. Our mission statement is we help business owners achieve their personal, professional, and financial goals through the growth of their business. I'm explaining to the candidate our why. So important. If you don't have your why figured out in your business and you aren't able to rattle it off like this, it is going to be very difficult for you to scale your culture and have everybody be on the same page, because you don't know why you exist. And when you hold people accountable and you're trying to hit targets and hit goals, and yet there isn't this clarity about why we even do what we do, it causes confusion. People are like, oh, I thought that's why we did what we did. Oh, I thought that that's why we did what we do. No one really knows unless you, as the business owner, are creating that clarity. So I'm putting that mission statement because it is the most important thing that a candidate would need to know about us. Why do we do what we do? If we're not aligned there, there's no point in you joining our organization. Then I added the vision. We're on a mission to help 1 million business owners achieve their personal, professional, financial goals. It's not just we want to help 5 business owners. It's not just that we want to help 100. We think over the next 10 years that we can help 1 million business owners achieve their personal, professional, and financial goals. So mission, vision. And then I'm tying those things to, but that's not just for our clients. We also want our team members to see how they can achieve their goals through working with us. That was the transition statement. So the core question, what professional goals would you like to accomplish over the next 5 years? That's the core. Now, after you have shared your mission statement, your vision statement, you've transitioned, and then you've asked what are their 5-year professional goals. If somebody said to you, I don't really believe in goals, I'm not really sure, I've never really thought about it, you're not hiring that person. Why aren't you hiring that person? Well, because you have goals. You've just said that your mission is to help business owners. Your mission is whatever it is inside your business. And if you have goals and you're trying to find somebody to help you achieve your goals, which is what this interview is, and they're telling you at the get they don't have any goals, then guess what? Doesn't matter how much experience they have, doesn't matter how much you like them, doesn't matter if they're a member of your family or a referral from somebody who's just fantastic. If the person does not have goals that you are hiring, they're not a fit. If you have goals and you want to grow your business. When somebody doesn't have goals, and there's a lot of people out there who don't. Again, I've interviewed thousands of people, and there are people who just are happy with where they're at. And if you want to build a business where you're happy with where you're at, okay, great. I have a feeling you're not watching this video still. Those people who are happy with what they have probably aren't watching a video like this. If you aren't satisfied and you believe you can help more people, it is a requirement that you surround yourself with other people who want to help you and who have massive goals and who want big things for their lives. Because if they don't, it's going to be so difficult for you to motivate them and to inspire them and to get them excited about what you're doing. Remember this, nobody will ever fight for your goals more than they will fight for their own goals. So this is why this is a really valid question. If they don't have goals, you know that they're not going to fight more for your business, for your clients, for your patients, for your customers, for your team, than they're going to fight for their goals. If they don't have goals, they're probably not going to fight freaking hard. And then you have to do all the fighting. But then that's so backwards, because why are you hiring them if you're the one that has to do all of the work? It makes no sense. So let's hire people who have goals. Okay, question number 4. This one's very straightforward, but a lot of people miss this in a first interview. What are your salary expectations? Remember, this relationship that you're establishing with this person is at the core a financial relationship. You are signing a contract, you are sending them an offer letter. They are not working for you for free. I have a feeling that if you showed up to your office on Monday morning and said, hey, I love all of you guys, I know you love me as well, and we have so much fun together here at this business, but unfortunately I can't make payroll, and I'm not going to make payroll for the next year. Are you guys still good showing up every single day, working 40 hours a week and doing things the right way? My gut tells me that most people would find another job, because remember, the nature of the relationship is financial. Business owners get confused about this because you think that you like your team members and they like you so much. Well, ask yourself this question. Would they still like you and show up to work every day without you paying them? If the answer is no, then let's address the financial issues that exist with our team members. And one of the financial issues is not having clarity in the interview process of what their expectation is financially. Let's get really comfortable talking about money with our team members. What are your salary expectations for this role? If they can't quite pick a number, if they're trying to do this weird negotiation tactic, it's probably not a fit. If you posted the role for $50,000 or $80,000 and the person says, you know, I'd like to make 85. Let's say you posted it for 80. They'd like to make 85. Okay, we can negotiate there. That person's being transparent. They're saying what they want. You're saying we posted it for 80. We could probably put an incentive plan in place for you to get to the 85. But if the person applies to a role that says $80,000 and their ask is for 110, clearly there's a lack of alignment there. There's a lack of expectation clarity between these two parties. So let's just ensure that we're on the same page before moving down the process and continuing to waste time when we know that the main thing that is happening through this relationship, we're actually at an impasse over. I like to think of this as if you were marrying somebody and for you it was really important that you wanted to have kids. It's like your lifetime dream. You've always wanted to have kids. And the other person is like, I hate kids, I don't want kids, never interested in kids, no. Well, we'd be at an impasse. And even if you liked the person, you probably wouldn't choose to marry this person because you guys are so clearly off on something that is foundational to the relationship. You can't really go have kids with somebody else. Like, you're not getting that anywhere else if you're married. What is the expectation? If the expectation is off, let's handle that in the first interview. And if it's in alignment, that's fantastic. Then let's keep moving through. So if we're gonna keep moving through and they say, I'd like to make 85,000, the role's posted for 80, okay, we're good. Now moving on to my 5th question. What questions do you have for us? I'll make you practice this like I did the last one. Just practice it. Just say to yourself, what questions do you have for us? This person, if they are a great candidate, should be able to ask no shortage of questions. They should be so curious about, well, who would I report to, and how long has that person been with you, and what is the strategic vision of the organization, and how long have you been with the organization? There's so many things that they could ask about. And if they do, that's wonderful. Ideally within the time allotted. You don't equally want somebody asking 45 questions and rolling out this list when you only have 8 minutes left in the interview process. But the right candidate should be properly assessing if this is the right organization for them, and that would happen through them asking questions. So some red flags on this would be if they didn't have any questions, that would be weird because there's so many things that they would need to know to really be successful. Why wouldn't they ask those questions? Another potential red flag on this is that they only ask really transactional questions. If the questions that come out of their mouth when you ask this, remember, we're on our 5th question and we're about to wrap up this interview. So if all they're asking about is paid time off, work from home, benefits, it's probably not a fit. If you're trying to grow and scale your business, sure, do they need to know those things at some point? Yes, but are those the most important things in the first 30 minutes of meeting somebody when they get the opportunity to ask questions? Absolutely not. The right fit The right person is asking much more strategic questions. And if they aren't, because I have seen thousands of people come through, I'm just telling you that if you lower the bar and you think it's okay that somebody doesn't have questions or they ask transactional questions, I have a little bit of experience in this area, and what I can say is I've never once had somebody ask super transactional questions and been this transformative thinker that's really helped us solve problems and really taken our business to the next level. It's never happened because they're only thinking transactionally, and they're showing me that they're only thinking transactionally in the first encounter with them. Why am I going to subject myself and my team to that transactional thinking for longer than me spending 30 minutes with this person? So let me know in the comments, is there an interview question that you asked that is your golden nugget of an interview question? It is the holy grail, it has helped you. Put it in the comments, let me know. Also, if you're curious on the next step of the interview process, after we go through these first 5 questions, I wrote this book. It's called Teamwork, and the entire interview process is, I believe, in chapter 7. Oh, yep, here it is. It's right here. The entire interview process is here for step 2 and for step 3. I would love to give this book to you for free. That's right, if you've made it to the end of this video, I will gift you this book for free. All you'll pay for is shipping and handling. Go to cardinalventures.com/teamwork to get a free copy. This also has onboarding plans, it has downloadables, it is all of the things that you need in order to properly set your team up for success. That is cardinalventures.com/teamwork, and I look forward to seeing you next time.